Welcome to the Beginner's Guide for Civilization 6. Today we're going to teach you three things. One thing is just what a city can do, which is quite a lot actually. The second thing is just guiding through the science and the civics trees. Civilization kind of splits up technology trees into two separate ones. And then finally, the third thing is how to conquer a city of an enemy. So, we are just starting out. We are on turn one. So if you're in map options, you want to show resource icons. So that way you'll know exactly what tile does what. So that's, for example, these 2 green. So that tile gives you 2 food per turn, 2 food. This one gives you 2 food and 1 production. So I like knowing exactly all that information. Just instantly without having to think about it. So we're going to form our original city. And we are playing as Greece. Our capital city is called Athens. So let's start off. All your options are going to be in the bottom right. So the first thing they want us to do this turn is to choose research, which will be in our science tech tree here. So they give you shorthand options. I usually just I like to have a broader picture of everything that's going on. So let's open the tree itself. So Civ, I really like that it kind of has a left to right tech tree, not like some games where it starts in the middle and spreads out like a web. So this one you can you're not forced to choose one direction. Well, obviously you're going left to right, but as far as like, I want to go straight north or I want to go straight south. And if you're wanting to like change your mind or kind of blend things together, you really can't. In this game, you can. So if I were to do like pottery and then irrigation, astrology, sailing, and then I went up and wanted to do like these 3, and so then they're like, wait a minute, I'm falling behind in some of these other ones. I need to go back and work on them. Well, this one would take a total of 12 science points. This one would take 40 science. As the higher up you go, boom, 324 science. So if I had only strictly gone across the top, it would start today 124 turns at my current production level of science. Whereas doing these, 5 turns, 16 turns. So it kind of balances out that you will, yes, maybe you could stress going on the top half a little bit more than the bottom half or the across the middle and ignore the top half, but eventually it'll all kind of balance out. So, and that's the same way in the civics tree too. So it kind of like makes everyone kind of basically choose the same path without like falling too far behind one another. So for our first one, I usually like to do pottery to get your 3 basics one. So pottery, once it's done, you can harvest bonus resources or build a granary. So like the granaries, so I'm going to start with that one. So in 5 turns, that research will be done. So there, we took care of that. Let's take a look at the civics tree. So at the beginning of the game, you're automatically researching the first civic. So you don't have to make a choice there. You have 8 turns until that one is done. Okay, so our city. What can you do with the city? Well, you can always be producing something. Let's choose our production. So you have 2 major categories at this point in the game. You can do districts or buildings, or you can build units. Some people, if you're just trying to go like, oh, I want this game to be over in half an hour or an hour, I'm going to try to conquer my enemies right away. Boom, they'll just start out with military units. And hopefully they're successful. They're playing on a low difficulty or something where they can actually do that to work. But if you want to advance and play on like normal difficulties or start to get a little harder difficulties or like, you know, enjoy the game as more than just a military game, you're going to want to start with some basic buildings to get your infrastructure going. So since we are just starting out, our only option is to build a monument. And it kind of tells you a little bit about what a monument does. It does provide 1 culture point. So as we can see in the top left, we currently are only getting 1.3 culture per turn. So we're almost going to be doubling our culture when that one's done. So let's go ahead and build that one. And as you can see right there, it'll be done in 5 turns. Now we also have 7 turns. So that is our city's population. So this city was just founded. It starts with 1 population. And in 7 turns, it'll grow. So it'll be up to 2 population. And that is based on our food production for that city. So this is our individual cities production of all the different things. Whereas up here is our civilization wide. So since we only have 1 city, pretty much everything we get is coming from our capital. That's where our 1.3 culture is coming from. That's where our 2.6 science is coming from. So this city individually is right now producing 3 food and 7.3 production. So let's see, where is that coming from? Let's manage our citizens. So your center tile is automatically used. So that's where 2 food and 2 production is coming from. And since we have 1 population, we can choose which tile we want that 1 population to use. So right now the game automatically chose this one. 1 food, 3 production, and 1 faith. I don't really care about the faith at this point. I probably will do some stuff with faith maybe in part 2 of these videos. But for now, it's not that important. Let's see, are there any other options? 2-2. That one has a culture. This one's 2-2. So I normally early on just want to look at total food and production. So like 1 and 3, so that totals 4. That one totals 4. That one totals 4. So I would definitely choose one of these. So you know what? Let's go ahead and leave it on that one because I'm getting the faith and I like getting a lot of production. So I'm going to leave it on that tile. And now the last thing it wants us to do here is to move our units. And I'm not going to go into too much depth about unit movement right now. And boom, turn over. Let's go on to the next turn. Turn 2. So as we see, science has 4 turns to go. Civic has 7 turns to go. Production has 4. So there we go. We're kind of good to go for a few turns here. All right, we have discovered Brussels. So Brussels is not an enemy. As we can see here, city-state meeting bonus. So city-states are cities that are in the game, but they're not competing to win the game. They're never going to expand and found a second city. They're never going to declare wars, things like that. So they're basically there as me or other competitors to try to fight over, to either conquer them and take them over, or to make them as allies and use them as allies in war, or just to kind of like trade with, share resources with, use their bonuses, things like that. So I love that about this game, is that there are city-states in. So let's quickly go up to the city-state menu here. So Brussels is the only one we've met so far. And we have an envoy system. So we just earned a bonus. Automatically 1 envoy is at Brussels because we are the first person to discover them. So if we have 1 envoy at Brussels, what do we get? +2 production in the capital when you're building wonders, buildings, or districts. Awesome. That's just what we want right away because guess what? We are building a building right away. So instead of just our basic 7.3, now we should be getting 9.3. So that should speed that up a little bit. Next turn. All right, so Brussels, you kind of got some mountains there, That looks like a coastline there. So I think I'm going to backtrack a little bit and go this way. Aha, we've discovered a barbarian. So again, these are not enemies competing to win the game. These are just there to kind of screw with everybody, basically. They're going to spawn a bunch of units, attack your cities, attack your units. It's just kind of a neat way to control each civilization early in the game so that you are kind of forced to have a little bit of a military defense. Whereas a lot of games back in the day, early in the game, like you wouldn't be near any enemies, so you did not need any military defense or whatever, and you're just free to build your infrastructure. This one kind of makes it more realistic, like, hey, you can't just have nothing. All right, so barbarian scouts, that's gonna be kind of weak. I'm gonna actually go after them with my warrior. I'm attacking across a river and up a hill, so it's actually not that good. Whereas you can see we kind of balanced out our damage, so not the best attacking strategy, whatever. Ah, my monument is done. So you can see my culture is now gone up to 3.4. And I don't have any more districts or buildings available until this next turn, when I could start working on a granary. So for one turn, I'm just gonna pick whatever. Doesn't matter. Aha, pottery is done. So I don't actually want to finish that production that I chose there. So I'm gonna change production and switch to a granary. So granary, it increases the food production by the city, but more importantly, increases the housing capacity. So the housing capacity right now for Athens is 6. The farther you away from your maximum housing you are, the quicker your city will grow. So that's why we're growing at a decent rate. We only have 2 more turns until we grow a population. Whereas if we were at 6 out of 6, it would be very, very difficult to expand to 7. Eventually it could get to 7. It would just take a long time and be very inefficient. And if you were putting a lot of resources into food production, it would be kind of wasted because it would take a lot. Yeah, so there'll be buildings and stuff you can do throughout the game to increase your housing capacity. So sometimes you could get a city up to like 15 population, 20 population, and that's a lot. Maybe it doesn't sound like if you're thinking, oh, I live in a city of 600,000 people in real life. No, you don't have 600,000 tiles around your city to work. You're going to have like 12 to 15 decent tiles that you're going to want to work. So that's where expanding and building second cities and third cities and fourth cities comes into play, because you want to expand your territory, but also expand your useful production. So we're going to work on that granary. And since pottery is done, we have to choose new. So we have a second level that we could start working on. We're going to go ahead and do these basic ones first. Animal husbandry, that'll let us do a couple pastures improvements based on what's around us. And if we take a look at some of these bonus ones, we have cattle, horses. Those will take pastures and camps. So that'll work out nicely. We'll be able to improve those tiles and make them even better than what they currently would be. All right, our first civic is completed. Okay, so I'm gonna move my guy here. Try to chase down this scout a little bit. I don't think he saw my city. He would have an exclamation point if he saw my city. If he saw my city, then he'd retreat to his camp and then start spawning units. So I'm gonna try to prevent him from doing that. And at the same time, I need to explore this direction anyway. So Kotoblas is done. As you can see up here, this would be the second level of government. So usually in my civics tree, I do try to get here quickly, which would be going down the middle here. So let's go ahead and do craftsmanship. There, barbarians running away. Across the, ooh, okay. Got some open space. Oh, did this happen last turn? When did this happen? I didn't notice. We got 2 population now. So the game assigned them automatically over here. Well, that's kind of... I didn't expect that, because I can see this one has a total of 5. 2 food, 3 production. And I would definitely favor that over 2, 2. So I'm going to move him over there. And since I already have my monument done and I'm got some progress on the granary, I think I can slow down this production. I don't need this 1-3 tile anymore. I'm going to switch it to something more focused on food, either a 2-2 or even I like this 3-1 up here. So I'm going to switch up there. Because right now 11 turns is a little bit longer than I want. And there's not a ton of things that I need to produce at this moment, because I can't do any more buildings, and I'm not super worried about units quite yet. All right. That scout's running away. Huh. Oh. Barbarians. have got more units. Okay, so I kind of don't want this guy to die. I'm going to put him on defensive mode. My animal husbandry is completed, so let's go and do that third beginning one, mining. I don't know if I have any thing to, I do have copper would be mining, requires mining. And that being a desert tile is not super productive anyway, so it's not super important that I do mining. Like I could skip and start working on some of these other ones. But I also do kind of want to get to these here. So yeah, I'm just going to make sure I get the 3 basics done. It's a pretty solid plan usually. All right, so now the granary is done. And again, I don't have any buildings I can do. So yes, I will go ahead and see this warrior already had 1 turn of production worth. So we're going to go ahead and finish him off then. So I have a new warrior. I don't know, since he was in defensive mode, that battle went much better than the other times. So I'm going to start working this guy down to help. Yeah, and you see the difference moving my citizens around? Because it was going to take 11 turns. Boom, I've already got my 3rd citizen. So sometimes slowing down your production at the beginning to get your food production allows you to actually get faster production later on because you have more citizens. See, I still have those 2 tiles being used, and now I have a 3rd option to choose from. So again, I'm going to switch them over to that food tile. And let's see what I should produce next. Should I go with another military guy or start doing some more infrastructure-based stuff? I'm going to do a builder. Builders are key to improving your city and making your cities like live up to their full potential. You are going to stay on your defensive mode because that's going really well. And actually that barbarian died. That's awesome. Okay, thank you. All right, so our craftsmanship has been completed. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on that one. It wants us to choose a pantheon. So that's the first step if you're doing religion. And we got there because we've been receiving that 1 faith per turn for a while. So we're up to 12. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one, so I'm just going to pick one. All right, so you are actually going to stay in defensive mode so you can heal a little bit and wait for your little buddy here to catch up. Stay there. You just healed 10 points. Aha, there we go. That's where the camp is. So I'm going to get both my guys down there and try to clear that camp so that they can't spawn barbarians anymore. All right, my mining research is completed. So I got my 3 basic ones done. Let's see, do I really care about getting archers fast? No. I think I want to do this one because that'll help on city building, explaining that stuff. So let's take a quick peek at that. We have city production. So as you can see, this is districts and buildings. I've already built the monument and the granary, which is all I can build now until I, unlock some new stuff through research. And then we have this new thing called districts. So districts are specialized centers for specific types of buildings. So this campus district, as it says there, district in your city for scientific endeavors. So if I'm going to want to increase, this 3.5 science per turn, that's pretty low. If I'm going to want to get that up higher, I'm going to want to build more science-based buildings. Well, in order to build science-based buildings, you need the proper district to build them in. So that would be the first step in doing that, is to getting the campus district produced. Similar to up here, we have a holy site district. So if I'm going to want to build religious buildings, this is where I would do it. I would have to build that first. And down here, we have an encampment that's your military based. And there are a lot more as you go on. So we're going to work towards that campus district. Let's see. What do I want to build next? I don't know if I need a second builder. I'll do a second builder, just for the heck of it. Oh, okay. I have met Japan. So yeah, as I move down here, boom, here, Japan has a scout. And I agreed to exchange information on our capitals so they can see where my capital is and I can see where their capital is. Interesting. So they have 3 populations, same as I do. All right, so builders. Builder, at the beginning, will have 3 builds, or as I call them, 3 charges. So that'll be 3 different things that you can do, and then that unit disappears. So you should be able to improve basically any tile. Some of them are more worth it than others. So for example, this cattle and horses I was talking about before, boom, I would definitely do those right away. Whereas some of these other ones, it requires irrigation, so I can't quite do those yet. And like this copper, I maybe would do it if it was in a better basic tile, but it's in a desert tile, so it only has 1 production and 2 gold. If I did an improvement on there, it would, I forget what the copper mine, if it just improves like 1 gold or 1 production, whatever, it's not gonna be worth it. Whereas if we remember, I'm already using this horse tile and it's giving 3-1. So if I were to improve it, it's like, it's already a good enough tile on its own. If I were to make it even better, boom, that just helps my civilization that much more. So I'm going to plan out, what are my 3 charges? I'm going to use 1 on the horses and the deer. I think the deer is the one that improves it by 1 gold. But again, I'm already using that deer tile because it's already so good in its own. It makes sense to improve it even further because you're limited by how many tiles you can work at a time. I can only do 3 right now. Next turn I'll be able to do 4 as the population grows. But since I'm already using that tile anyway, I might as well improve it. So I'll do the deer, I'll do the horses. I can't do that one, I can't do that one. This is rainforest yet. I don't have the technology to clear rainforest yet. So basically I'm choosing between these 2 cattle tiles, so I'll choose the one that's closer. So, benefit is, I can move there. And when you do your builder, the recommended one is going to be the top one, whereas all your options are here. So yes, I'm going to improve the cattle, which it tells you +1 production. So instead of just 3 food, now it's 3 food and 1 production. There we go. So where do I have my 3 people? Yeah, that's fine. When I get my 4th one, I'll assign them to that tile. Okay, I think that was the barbarians spawning another unit. I'm gonna go ahead and cross the river because I don't want to fight across the river. And I will start attacking. Alright, move my builder up here and build a pasture there, +1 production. Yeah, so that's a 3-2, that's a 2-3. So I have 2 tiles that are producing 5 food and production per turn, which is awesome. I love it. And yeah, I want to work that tile now. So I'm up to 4 population, and I'm going to grow again in 8 turns. So this city is actually growing at a decent rate. I'm only in turn 15. That's good. And I got another builder about to be done. So you want to go ahead and start thinking about where you're going to settle a 2nd city or even a 3rd city. But you can't do that too soon because when you build a settler, it removes 1 of your population, which logically makes sense. So if you're struggling to grow your population, you don't want to cut off your own population to go settle a 2nd city until you can actually afford it. So we're doing pretty well here. I think I can afford it. When this builder's done, I think I'm going to start working on a settler. So this builder, you're going to head over to that 3rd location. And now I kind of have this extra builder that let's see, what should I do with it? Forest? Can I even clear that forest? I forget where that ability comes in. Is it here? Aha. Mine allows chopping of woods, so I could clear the woods if I wanted to. Whereas I can't clear the rainforest until this one. So, you are going to start working on a settler. 3 turns. It's fairly quick. And let's see, let's make some progress on fighting this guy. Promotion available, excellent. So since I know next turn I'm gonna use his movement points on getting the promotion, so he's not gonna be able to attack, which means I'm not gonna be able to finish this off this round. So I'm gonna go ahead and, if you go defensive, no rush to fight this defensive moded barbarian, just to wipe out your own units in a futile effort. So we're gonna take our time there. Civic completed. So there we go, we're making some progress. Gonna work on the next one there. Clear away this. Unit wants to be promoted. So promotions, there's always this little tree. So for melee type, they always have this same exact thing. Whereas like range type, they'll have 7 different ones. But again, you're kind of working from your top all the way down to the bottom. It gets better. For melee, I'm not a huge fan of many of these, besides obviously the last one, an additional attack per turn, so you can attack twice per turn. But any of these middle 4 I don't really care about. The 2 that I like the best are the top 2. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. Extra 7 combat strength against a melee or a ranged unit, which is basically what you see mostly in the very beginning of the game. And then you are going to heal. Alright, so one of these charges I'm going to use on this builder is to clear away these woods. So these woods are turning this normal tile, it would be 2 food, 1 production. Woods adds 1 production per turn. So in the long term, it might be beneficial to keep the woods there. But just to show you what you can do, I'm going to clear the woods. So it's going to give you an automatic 14 production. Which I didn't think a couple turns ahead that doing that 14 production, that's really going to push ahead this settler. Which only needs 40 production and I'm already got 20. So that's almost going to complete him. Be very close. But instead of taking 2 turns, it'll only take 1 turn. Boom. Now he only needs 1 more turn. And as you can see, the tile resumed to its normal 2 food, 1 production tile spot. Okay, we're going to have a few things this turn, as writing is finally done. What? That can't be the same scout that was down here earlier. That must be a different scout. Yes, he's weakened a little bit. Okay, that kind of complicates things because I don't have any military units here. These are all civilian units, 2 builders and a settler. So if I tried to go and found a new city, they could capture me. Alright. Now there's kind of a rush to clear this guy. So as you can see, I'm now stronger. And boom. So I cleared that camp. That camp is gone. They can no longer spawn units there. Excellent. Going to do this. So that builder used all 3 of his charges, and you can see that builder is now gone. So I cleared the woods here. So now I just have a hill. Whenever you have a hill, you can build a mine. So +1 production. Boom. So it's back to that original 2 food, 2 production status, but I did get that automatic 14 production boost. And now I'm back to the original. So yes, it used 2 of my builder charges. He's only got 1 left, but it did get me that settler faster than normal. So settler, I'm not going to have you move anywhere yet. You're just going to chill. We don't need you getting captured or anything. So after I get that taken care of, then I want to start working on that district. But I need my settler to be protected. So I'm going to build a slinger, maybe 2 slingers, we'll see. Huh. Kind of debating here. I'm going to go with irrigation. 7 turns. Alright, so I now have a military unit and a civilian unit. So I'm going to pair them together. Create escort formation. Boom. So now, if I move 1, they're going to move together. There. So now that settler is not vulnerable to just being captured. They would have to destroy my military unit first. And this builder, let's see, I have irrigation coming. So instead of using that last charge right now, I'm gonna go ahead and just wait. Wait until irrigation's done, and then I'm gonna build an improvement on one of those that requires irrigation. So yes, you guys are gonna continue going this direction. Oh my gosh, there's still another unit there. So do I want to do the campus now, or... Okay, I know I said like not worried about military, but now I'm just worried about protecting my settler. Ah, you crossed back over. Interesting. I'm just going to go defensive mode since he's already kind of weak. And you guys are going to keep moving up there. Ooh, look at that. Another city-state. Kumasi. So let's go to our city-state menu. So Brussels. Oh, I wasn't even paying attention how we got a second envoy. So we're closer to getting up to that level 3. But now we have Kumasi. They're purple. They are a culture-based city-state. So since we automatically got one, yeah, we're the first person to discover them, huh? So now we're getting +2 culture in the capital from our 1 envoy to Kumasi. So our culture per turn is going to be doing much better now. Which leads me to believe that this is probably going to be like a little peninsula or something up here. If nobody's discovered them yet, nobody must be over here exploring. Okay. So that's kind of good. I might have this whole kind of region to myself. There's probably another civ over here somewhere, but maybe not too particularly close to me. We'll see. Let's go ahead and put this... Wake up. So put this builder, instead of just skip turn for 5 turns, I'm going to tell him to go to sleep. And I'll just have to remember in 5 turns that I wanted to do that. Because now, since he's asleep, you won't get prompted to do his move every turn. Which, it has its benefits, but knowing me, sometimes I totally forget about somebody. And like, I go like 100 turns, and I'm like, oh, that unit's still there? Whoops, I could have used them. Like, I needed them, and I forgot about them. Did you get your promotion yet? Okay, your experience bar is very close. So I kind of figured you would get a promotion before you died. I'm kind of scared. I'll just try it. Fortify one more time. Because this guy is exploring. Alright, we'll select settler. So red means you cannot settle a city there. It means it's too close to an existing city. So that's why I can't build there. And I can't build around Kumasi. So green means that would be a good place. They recommend it because it'll be like along the ocean coast, along a river, along a lake. Something that gives you water. Because if the better water you settle your city by, that gives you better housing to start out. Like Athens started with 6 housing. It was along this really nice river. We're actually up to 9 housing. 2 of that was from the granary that we built. Toggle city details. District's buildings. So that granary gave us 2 housing. Clear that. And then these white ones, you can build a city there, they just don't recommend it. So let's go ahead and move. There we go. Another city-state. Kabul is similar to Brussels, where they're going to give you a boost to production, but instead of production for buildings, wonders, districts, it'll be for units. Plus 2 production in the capital and producing units. So the fact that they were there explains why nobody found Kumasi yet. But I did notice we did not automatically get an envoy. It means we were not the first civilization to discover them. So yes, there definitely is an enemy civilization over here somewhere. Which kind of puts a wrinkle into my putting a city up here somewhere, because that's already taken. Technically, I could squeeze one in. Just like we can manage our citizens and tell them which tiles to do, we can also purchase tiles. As long as we're doing well on money. We've been getting 7 gold per turn. We're up to 159. So yes, if it only costs 30, 45 to buy some of these, yeah, we can afford it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy this tile. Boom. So that tile is next to the mountain. So when I choose campus, if I'm choosing this tile, there it's telling me it gets an extra science per turn as a bonus being next to the mountain. Alright, so that'll be done in 2 turns. So we have our first district underway. Hooray! Aha, so he survived, did not die, excellent, and now he's got enough experience to get promoted. So, let's start moving this direction to a lake. Interesting. Aha! We have discovered Tomyris. Ah, and there's their capital down there. Okay. So things are starting to look a little bit crowded here. Interesting, interesting. Now this is definitely one where I want to get a city in between. They're already up to 5 citizens. Alright, so that barbarian finally died. Discovered Lake Redba, huh? 1 production, 2 gold, 2 culture. That's an interesting thing. I don't know if I'd necessarily want to put a city next to that. Like, no food, barely any production. I suppose if you had decided you were trying to go for like a cultural victory in the game, maybe you'd want to do that. Meh. Alright, so our campus is completed. And as we can see from when we researched writing, that allowed us to build a campus, but it also allowed us to build a library, which is the very first campus building. So if we build a library, boom, we get an extra 2 science per turn. And we're only getting 5, so an extra 2 would be a big boost. So let's go ahead and work on that. All right, we skipped ahead a few turns here. I've decided I'm gonna put this city right here on this spot. So as you can see, red up here, it's too close to Kabul. Red down here, too close to Pokrovka. Red here, mountains. So we kind of just have this narrow path in here. And obviously I don't want to build too far over here because that's too far away from my capital city. So we're going to go ahead and build here. I'm doing it. Boom, found a city. Sparta, they got it. All right, cool. Oh, and just one more thing here. Since I have a second city now, I was building a trade unit. So that should be done. Oh, your people settled too close. Sorry, I kind of did that on purpose. A lot of times in choosing how to respond to their complaints and stuff, it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter how you respond. They're just going to get mad no matter what. Oh, yeah, sorry. I won't do that again. So this trade unit. So it's in Athens right now, so you could tell it to start a trade route to any of these nearby cities. And here are the bonuses you would get depending on which city you chose. So Kumasi being culture-based, you'd get some gold and culture. Brussels being production-based, you get production and gold, etc., etc. Your enemy city, well, technically not enemies yet, but we know they're going to be enemies. We're not going to make an alliance with them or ignore them. We're kind of going to be enemies with them. You could start a trade route to them, and then your trade unit would build a road towards them. So instead of just having to travel across rough terrain, you'd have a nice smooth pass. So if you're going to fight a war with them, sometimes people like to build a road to the enemies first. I'm not actually going to do that. If I go to one of Sparta, if you do your internal cities, your own cities, you'll get some food and production bonus. That's what I want to do, but I don't want it to be giving those bonuses to Athens. So I'm going to switch this unit, transfer to another city. I'm going to transfer him to Sparta. So instead of the trade route being Athens to Sparta, I'm going to have it being Sparta to Athens, which sounds kind of weird because you think it wouldn't matter which direction it's going. In this game it does, it's fine. But it's a good idea. I like when I have a brand new city start out to put a trade unit in that city just to help out its production and food right at the beginning to help it, not be a liability, to actually more quickly turn it into a useful asset. So yeah, I just wanted to show that the trade unit's going to help Sparta grow a little bit. All right, we have archery completed. So instead of, actually it doesn't show it on here, instead of the slingers that we were able to build originally, now our ranged unit is an archer, so much stronger. So our military units have a system of promotion. So if you build a slinger, you're not stuck with this crappy 15 range strength unit for the entire rest of the game. You didn't just waste your production resources. You can upgrade them to whatever you have now, but it's not free. It does cost money. So right now, upgrade to archer, 20 gold. We have 177. So for us right now, that's no big deal at all. So let's go ahead and do that. The price will get higher if it's stronger and stronger units, and if you're doing more than one. So it's not like you should always, just no matter what, build a whole bunch of low-level units, assuming you're going to upgrade them. It's like if you're about to hit a new technology level, maybe like wait until it's done, and then you can start building those new units. But it also helps see like this warrior had a promotion unit. If you get units up to like 3 or 4 promotions, that's pretty valuable. So you're not going to want to just ignore them. You definitely are going to want to promote those. So there's benefit to getting experience with your low level units and then upgrading them. So as you can see, like the first 10, 15 turns, there's not a lot to do. But as you get farther and farther in, you get more cities with more stuff to do. You get more choices what to do with your tech tree, more choices to the civics tree. There's all kinds of fun stuff to kind of like analyze. And oh my gosh. Oh, screw you, Japan. Oh my gosh. And that's my fault for having my other settler run around over here instead of getting that city in between myself and Japan, just like I said I need to. Okay, is there still room? There's a little bit of room. Go down here. And okay. Kind of mad at myself for that. Oh well. Too busy focused on kind of gearing up for a little war here with Scythia. Alright, do I have enough archers? No, I don't think I have enough archers. One more. Oh, one turn. There we go. Oh, I just noticed what I was saying about sending my trader down to them to build a road. Looks like they did the exact... They're building the road for me. Huh. So why am I sending my units that way? I gotta send them around the mountains that way then. Sparta just finished its campus district. Oh, so I probably should do a library. I was planning on building some more military units. Uh, 3 turns, 3 turns. I don't know how much defense they have. There is the option you can look at the world rankings. And it shows military strength. 112? That's pretty similar to what I have. I think that's kind of cheating. I don't really think you should just be able to look up, okay, how much military do they have? Because if you can't see it and you don't have any spies or anything, you probably really shouldn't know. So I tend not to look at that. But that is an option if you're trying to decide whether it would be a smart idea to declare war on somebody or not. I don't see any other units. So I'm going to take a risk and go and get that library done first. Even though it'll take 5 turns. It'd probably be smarter to build some more units. What do I got? I got 6. Yeah, oh, okay. He's kind of off by himself. Run, little buddy. If I'm going to declare war, this guy's pretty much toast. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sure you guys are sick of waiting. You knew it was coming. We're declaring war. We're going to try to go after this, get this nice capital city for ourselves. If we're able to get this capital city, we should be able to roll over Japan, whoever else is in the game we haven't discovered yet. We're going to start our road to domination. So, let's go. Declare friendship? Nope. Okay. So the game has some differences between just declaring surprise war or like, you know, kind of telling the rest of the world a justification. Here's why we're declaring war. We don't have any of those available to us yet. Yeah, we don't have those. Formal war is available if you denounce them. Formal declaration of war can follow after 5 additional turns. So if you do that, warmonger penalties. So it depends on how the rest of the world views you. They're going to start to get angry if you're just declaring war on everybody for no reason. They'll kind of like gang up on you. Now, that's the idea. I don't think the game actually executes it very well. So I tend not to care about it. If I plan things out well enough, I'll do the denouncement and wait, but I don't care. Declare. Bring it on. You've betrayed the trust. I don't think I'm going to pay. I think you're going to pay. Let's go. So, let's start moving in. So one thing you can do is you can pillage their tiles. So if they have a farm like this one, you can ruin their farm, and like later on after you make peace, they would have to come and repair it. Farm. They haven't even built an improvement on there. Kurgan? Must be one of their special things. So my general strategy is if I feel very confident that I'm going to be able to capture the city, then I'm not going to pillage, because then I would have to fix it for myself because it would be my own city at that point. If I'm not so sure and I'm just trying to like declare war just to like screw with them and wreck some of their production and hurt them in the future, yeah, then I would pillage. Or if I thought I was going to be able to take the city and then it starts to not go so well and I'm starting to fall back, then I would pillage on my way out. So I'm not going to pillage right now. I'm just going to move in as close as I can. There's somebody I can attack. So I'm right clicking there. Okay. Just going to move everybody in. So should I attack the center or should I move in? I'm going to move in. Actually, oh, I messed that up. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to attack you now. What's their response? So I'm not too scared about that response. Yeah, so I think a lot of their military units were down there. So I'm going to try to take advantage. Oh, I wasn't able to finish him off. So one thing about combat in this game is if you are defending or attacking, either way you get your unit gets experience points. And then like I did with these units earlier, when you get a certain amount of experience points, you can give them promotion. Promotion automatically heals them a certain amount. So if you are attacking like I just did twice on the scout, but I wasn't able to kill him, there's a chance that they would then have enough experience points and they'd level up. So generally you don't want to leave units on low health. You'd rather take them out all at once so that they are removed, killed without having the opportunity to heal. Ah, so I can. There we go. Gone. Can move in there. So see, this is a civilian unit. It's a trade unit, so they are defenseless. If it was a builder or a settler, I would have just automatically captured them. A trade unit you can't capture, you have to plunder them. So trade unit is destroyed, and I gained 50 gold for that. Oh. Wow, see, just like that, where they attacked my archer, but they weren't able to kill him. So now he can get promoted. 1 out of 100 health. Crazy. So, ranged unit promotions. Let's go that one. Huh. So they're, instead of using this archer to fight me, they're just using him to protect their settler. I don't know if that's the smartest choice, if that's what I would do. Alright, so let's start working on this defense here. Not as effective as I kind of originally hoped. I don't know. Oh, archer died. So since the archers themselves are not doing enough damage quickly, and I already had an archer damage or get killed, I'm probably gonna have to start using my melee units to help attack as well. Normally I would not use melee units to attack unless the melee units were much more technologically advanced than what the city defense could provide, because a melee unit normally gets wrecked a little bit. There are siege units. I think the more effective siege units are a couple technology eras ahead of where I am right now. So usually if I'm attacking this early in the game, I just do it with archers. I don't bother with the early game siege units. See, now he's attacking this one. Oh, he can get promoted. Sweet. Alright, let's see how much damage you guys can do. See... Oh. Yeah, that's not too bad. Am I going to be able to do it this turn? I am. Boom. So there we go. We conquered. We conquered their capital city.